versus Vas'Avi. My name is Gorgon the Wonder Cow. You can catch me at GotCowDota over on Twitter, and I'm joined by the Candyman himself, Toffees.
Toffee's Candyman, I like that. Hey guys, glad to be here. If you like the cast, head over to Twitter, follow me at Toffees_Dota2. But let's get into this match. We should have a pretty good one here.
No, I'm really looking forward to this. CHUANZ and Vas'Avi both sitting around middle of the pack for the Dota Season 4 here at CEVO. CHUANZ sitting at 3-4 record. Vas'Avi sitting at 4-3. Both of them fairly somewhat known in the community level, like high-level community level play, but relative to a lot of the heavy hitters that we have, such as Sna+4 or the E-Hug, relatively unknown teams with very strong players. Dazzle being picked up for Flying Zebra, first pick. That is a typical pick for Vas'Avi.
Definitely. Dazzle pairing well with a lot of heroes. They got the Doom here to do a nice hard counter for this Earth Spirit. Should be a pretty good grab. Now, Earth Spirit and Ancient Apparition picked up by CHUANZ. Both pretty popular heroes in the meta right now, most exclusively that Ancient Apparition, who has stormed onto the scene with all the fervor of Wild Bill Hitchcock entering a saloon. This guy is throwing balls around, sinking shots, and putting out so much damage that the other team is always just scared of him when he is picked up.
So the 28th of February, Ancient Apparition had a long streak of being picked or banned at around 35% of games. That would be what I would call meta presence. Starting on the 1st until the 5th, it looks like, maybe the 4th, shot up to almost 100% pick ban in that couple of days, and it has not dropped down below 80% pick ban more than twice between the beginning of this month and now. It's been almost entirely above 90% pick ban. So you're right, just shot in like a bullet in terms of meta presence and has not let go.
Yep. So, and there's good reason for that. I think he's always been strong. And once again, he's one of those heroes, kind of like the Centaur Warrunner is starting to be right now, that just didn't get the recognition maybe he deserved. And after seeing him in a couple of matches, everybody started to say, wait a minute, maybe there's something to this. In the way that we saw, Centaur Warrunner was in the XMG, and all of a sudden he started to make a storm onto the actual meta. And it's fun to see.
Yeah, this is an interesting conversation. They've got the hot and cold so far with the Ember Spirit and the Ancient Apparition. Ancient Apparition is going to be able to engage from a distance with that Ice Blast, and Ember Spirit's going to be able to zip in with his Fire Remnant and just appear into those fights after that Ice Blast lands. Very nice combination coming out of CHUANZ.
Absolutely. I like the combo. I like the pickup by Disruptor here for Team Vas'Avi. They're going to have the ability to really kind of control that Ember Spirit. So Ember Spirit likes to have that escape remnant, as I like to call him, and Disruptor's going to be able to really mess with him when he's trying to depend on that to get out of ganks and early fights.
Yeah, that's stellar. Not only does that help mitigate a little bit of the frightfulness of that Ember Spirit. Not only can you get rid of him if he engages, but you can also get him back if he tries to get away. But the Disruptor pairs very well with the Dazzle, throwing down that weave on top of a kinetic field along with that static storm. What can I say? That is a scary combination to face.
Yeah, definitely. Chen picked up CHUANZ. Interesting. I don't know. I don't love Chen. I mean, I know he was big. I know he's got some value in the jungle. I just don't see him played as often. I think it's because he's just too hard to get up and running quickly, which seems to be the way that the meta tends to lean nowadays.
Yeah, well, the Chen gets up going a little bit more quickly than the Enchantress, but he falls off a little faster. However, I do think the Dire side Chen is stronger than the Radiant side Chen due to that puppy triangle, which is where you take that medium camp, and the hard camp, and you go ahead and stack all three. One of those is going to get a Wildkin eventually. You're able to knock down all the rest of them with that Tornado and get up level 5 by 5 minutes if you don't rotate into lane too early.
Yeah. So, and that's true. I think what it does, though, is it limits their ability to sort of get out and do some hard rotations and ganks, which is, I don't know, you've played with me before. You've seen my style. I love ganks. I love watching early rotations. I think that if you're not seeing a kill in that first, by that 4-minute mark, you're not doing it right. But that's just my personal play style. And I think that's why I don't love Chen, is he doesn't seem to fit that early aggression.
Yeah. Slardar coming out of Vas'Avi. I'm not a huge fan of Slardar, but honestly, I've been seeing him played so well as of late that they're starting to change my mind. The Blink Dagger with the Slithering Crush, the negative damage coming out of the Slardar stacked with that negative damage from the Weave, or excuse me, the negative armor from the Slardar stacked with the negative armor from the Weave, on top of Well, basically a significant amount of damage output that will be coming out of that heal, will be coming out of the Doombringer, and the right clicks from the Slardar means that Vas'Avi is going to be able to handle fairly well getting into these team fights. And I think for, what does it look like? Is that going to be a jungle Doom or an offlane Doom, do you think? Maybe mid?
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be a mid Doom. He's going to struggle a little bit against his Ember Spirit with his incredibly low armor value to start. But I think that that's going to be a mid Doom, and I think they're going to pick up a good offlane here.
A Mirana would be a very strong pick, I think, for Vas'Avi. Would
Yeah,
give them a
absolutely.
little more right click that they kind of need.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that they do need that right click. I'm trying to go over stuns right now. And Team Vas'Avi needs to also get their hands on one really good hard lockdown here of some sort. I mean, I understand the disruption field. I understand Slardar's going to do a nice blink and stun. And Dazzle's got a bit of a stun that takes a while to get up and running. But I think that they really need something that's going to be a good firm hold.
Here's what I want to see. I want to see the Mirana picked up by Vas'Avi that gives them the Sacred Arrow that they're going to be able to combo with the Blink Slardar and with the Kinetic Field. But not only that, it will give them potential for a very strong aggressive tri-lane with the Disruptor and Dazzle, who are not typically aggressive tri-laners, but with the Mirana there and the fact that they know there's a Chen, which means CHUANZ will almost certainly be running a safe lane duo with the Chen in the jungle. That gives Vas'Avi the opportunity to be able to rotate in, get that Chen, also put a lot of aggression onto the safe lane farmer, which presumably is still to come out. I think that would be a very strong position for them. They could also run the Doom in an aggressive tri-lane if they wanted to. Go ahead.
Honestly, I'd like to see a Slardar Disruptor Dazzle aggressive tri-lane, and I'd like to see them put a Lone Druid in a solo safe lane.
Ooh, that's an interesting choice. They are going to ban that Mirana to CHUANZ. I think that makes a lot of sense. The other thing that the Mirana offers is the Moonlight Shadow, because Vas'Avi has great team fight, but they have to have the initiation. They cannot be initiated on. They're a little too squishy for that. When they get initiated on, they're going to have a lot of trouble, especially since the Slardar is going to be relying on the Blink Dagger, and when you get initiated on, you don't get to use it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah.
CHUANZ. Sorry, just trying to figure out what CHUANZ is going to go for here. So we get the Tinker, so that will be an offlane. I think that's also a good pickup for them to give them some split push, some good global ability for moving around here. And, I think Tinker has really increased his value in the current meta game over the last couple of weeks, probably due in part to a certain mid hero who likes to use him. But also I've seen him used in a lot of other contexts, and he does very, very well.
Did you say you think that's going to be an offlane Tinker?
I do think it's going to be an offlane Tinker.
I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that we'll probably see is the Tinker mid, the Doombringer in a solo safe lane, then Slardar, Disruptor, Dazzle, aggressive tri lane. That's what I put my nuggets on if I were betting nuggets. We'll have to see. Do you think that's going to be a suicide lane Tinker or a solo safe lane Tinker?
I think I like the solo safe lane.
Okay.
I think that they've got the potential to put up a surprise aggressive tri-lane, which I think, an underrated part of the aggressive tri-lane is that you have to catch them off guard with it to a certain extent.
Yeah.
If they know it's coming and can plan accordingly, it's not nearly as effective. And Team Vas'Avi has the potential to put together a good and kind of a surprising aggressive tri-lane here.
Yeah. Vas'Avi is going to, I mean, we don't know for sure that they're going to be running that aggressive tri-lane, but I think that it would work out in their favor, especially since there's a Spectre who's not very strong through the early portions of the game, but gets very strong. You definitely want to hold her under the water. With that, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our Vas'Avi squad, which is going to do an aggressive tri-lane. Looks like they are scouting up top. With Tubby the Fat sliding around on that Slardar, we've got Ryanoob casting it up on the Disruptor. Lycus is going to be taking that Tinker. Flying Zebra will be taking his signature hero, that Dazzle, and Scar will be holding that Doom. Scar being an old Avanti's Angels player.
That's right.
Yeah, a couple of these guys might actually have been on that squad at one point in time or another. I think Ryanoob might have also been there, but I'm not 100% sure. Either way, a little bit of your community Dota North American history for you guys there, as we do see the obligatory early game pause, which will give Toffees the opportunity to go ahead and run through our dire side.
I'll run through CHUANZ with the benefit of not having to worry about them moving out from under my cursor. So for Dreams be playing the Chen. He does have a smoke up on him already. Hax will be playing the Spectre. We're going to see a mid 1DR playing the Ember Spirit. We're going to see the Ping Ping Reborn playing the Clockwork in that offlane. And then up on top, we've got Frost playing the Ancient Apparition, yet to move out of the base, but presumably joining them on the tri-lane.
So the wards have been split for CHUANZ. That's pretty standard. I can't imagine CHUANZ doesn't see an aggressive tri-lane coming here. I mean, I don't think they saw it coming through the beginning of the draft, but by the time the draft ended, it seemed pretty clear that an aggressive tri-lane is an option, and you always have to be prepared for it if you pick up a Chen or an Enchantress, especially if it doesn't look like you can aggressively jungle it. It just gives your opponents too much opportunity to really run through you, knowing that you're going to have a disadvantage in the lane, in terms of numbers at least.
Yeah. So as they sort of get lined up here, it looks like, or so we still don't know who's going to that mid position. They're keeping us guessing. I think, I'm starting to lean towards maybe your way of thinking, but I'm going to stamp on my Tinker off lane just so I feel good about myself here.
It really could go either way. I think the Tinker mid gives them a little bit more opportunity to get some farm up on either that Doombringer or the Slar, whichever one they decide to focus on. I'm starting to think more along the lines of having that Slardar in the aggressive tri-lane and the Doombringer do the solo safe lane, but I would prefer to see Slardar in the solo safe lane personally. The only thing is they're hard to disable. They didn't pick up the Mirana because it was banned out, and doing the aggressive tri-lane without any hard disables nor with any significant nukes is a little difficult to really do. Basically all they'd be able to do is zone Spectre out, and that's not really what they're looking for, so...
And yep, and he's going to be used for initiation. So when he's going to go in there, he's going to use his hard disable. There's not a lot to prevent escape or scatter, which is my fear for VA going into this game, is that they're going to have some really great initiations, but CHUANZ, no slouches, and they do have some very mobile heroes are going to be able to, as soon as that stun goes down, start to react, and there's not a lot the VA can do to control the scatter, for lack of a better description.
Yeah. Definitely. And that just comes back in the end to the fact that VA does not want to be initiated on basically ever in this game. They always want to have the upper hand in terms of timing. They always want to be jumping out with the Slardar, with the Tinker, making sure that CHUANZ is on the back foot. And they will definitely be initiated on at some point with that Spectre. The Spectre will be able to counter-initiate, but really does stronger starting off or jumping into an engagement that's already been initiated by its team. Doesn't do quite as well trying to turn initiation around unless he's got a significant amount of team support. So,
yeah, and the other thing to remember, and I just wanted to point this out because I don't think we talked about it yet, is the global function of CHUANZ. So the combination of the Ancient Apparition is going to be a great initiation. Slardar will essentially be able to come in with his global stun just about anywhere, even if he only has one person with him, because Clockwork can follow with his rocket, and then Spectre will be able to pop his ulti from anywhere on the map. So what that's going to do is automatically drop an entire group between the stun and the AA ball down to about half health. Rocket will add a little more to that, and then you're going to see Spectre come in and start to just clean up. So that's sort of what I think they're going with this strategy. So we should see some pretty fun global fights. However, I pity you, the cameraman, for having to keep up with the transitions we're going to get here.
Well, we should be seeing some pretty exciting Dota as we already see the smoke come out as Ryan Noob comes in. He does find Hacks. Will he be able to grab Hacks at all here? There is going to be the glimpse, and it's going to be right into the Slardar, throwing down the Slithering Crust. There's some poison toss. Hacks really doesn't have too much opportunity here. He's going to go down to some auto attacks and the laser. Doombringer grabbing that kill and giving him a little bit of a gold boost through the early game, which is very nice on a Doombringer, who otherwise has a little bit of survivability issues in terms of DPS because of his extremely low armor.
Absolutely. So literally that could not have gone better for VA. It's exactly what they wanted to have happen. Picking up that first point of Glimpse, a great move for Disruptor. Maybe not always the most common of builds, but done just at the right time to make sure that they got themselves that kill. And very valuable it will be, especially because they got it on the Spectre.
Yeah, the only way that could have gone better is if the Slardar got the kill, to be 100%. Or maybe the Tinker for the Boots of Trav early. Something along those lines. But Tinker is going to go into our mid lane here. And it does look like we're going to have the Doom go into the bottom lane. So these lanes shaping up basically exactly how one would expect. We're going to see Tubby the Fat do some pretty solid creep walking here as well, pulling that Spectre even farther out when he's already at a deficit. The one nice thing about that for the Spectre is that he really didn't lose too much in terms of gold, just because he had already spent most of it. Wow, Flying Zebra coming in with the Poison Touch on Frost. Frost not having too much opportunity. There's going to be the Glimpse. Frost pulled back. There's Slithering Crust. Some auto attacks going out. Flying Zebra trying to make it happen. Tubby the Fat getting blocked out, and he is not going to get that last hit, but the Disruptor will have the range to make sure that AA goes down.
Wow. So great coordinated play coming out of VA. They planned this from the get-go, and they're executing it perfectly. Flying Zebra with that poisoning touch to him just enough time to get a couple of right clicks, and Ryan perfectly timed the glimpse as well to use at max range, allow some right clicks prior to the glimpse to give them even more time to put damage on that AA before he could get out of range. So exquisite play by VA on these first 2 ganks.
So here's my question of the day. Chen knows that his allies are having so much trouble in the top lane, and he is going to go ahead and just nuke down without doing any sort of pulls this easy camp on his own. I don't know. I find that a little bit questionable considering how much trouble that Spectre's having. He's now 2 deaths in at less than 2 minutes with basically no farm to speak of. In fact, I don't even know that. Yeah, he's got 0 creep hits right now and can't get anywhere near it.
So the real problem that Chen's running into is Chen has to now stay close. He doesn't have the option of going off and jungling, in his normal 3 camp location. He's really got to stay near. As I said, he's going to go to that spot and risk it. He wanted to stay close to Hax, so he's going to try to farm those camps close by. But what that does is it really does, penalize Hax and make it hard for them to pull. So I think Chen's really here stuck between a rock and a hard place. Does he come in and keep them safe but sap the XP, or does he go off to the woods and pray that Spectre doesn't get picked off again?
Yeah, the other thing is that if he's not off in this wood area, he's not only is he leeching XP from his allies, he's not getting the XP that a Chen really needs in order to get that early push. He's also not going to be able to get his fast mechanism up if he's not getting neutrals. So he is really in a rock and a hard place. And he's also, now that he's rotated over here, he has not rotated over here quite soon enough to stack the camp, which means that he's not going to be able to get that puppy-style Bermuda Triangle going in order to maximize his farm. He's actually going to be caught out by Disruptor. You're taking a couple of auto attacks. Disruptor grabbing 69 gold on that Centaur. So Chen sitting down low. No Centaur, no hopes, no dreams. He's just going to walk into the mid lane with nothing. And I'm not sure where he's at. He might even be heading to his opponent's jungle just to try and have a little opportunity here.
Yep, and the opponents don't have any vision on the entrance, so if he does go in, it will be quietly. But I think, that was a good play by Disruptor. Went over, let him know that they know he's in there, not going to let him just do it without any sort of harassment. And I like that play out of Vas'Avi. I think it's important to make sure that you show your face to a jungler once in a while, just to let them know that they're there and force them to play a lot more carefully.
Yeah, absolutely. We are seeing a little bit of another pause here, and why don't we go ahead and take a look at some of our items, seeing what's coming out. Dazzle grabbing that early TP, really early TP, implying that he's ready to move down if Doombringer gets in trouble here. That is, or even potentially if the Tinker gets in trouble. Coming in with that TP, that early Grave can really make a playmaker situation. He doesn't have the Grave yet because he has been going with the Shadow Wave and the Poison Touch, but it should be coming out here probably around level 4. They haven't really needed it yet either.
Yeah, he will. I would expect that when he gets to this level 3 location, he probably won't buy his skill just yet. He'll hold it out in case that Shallow Grave becomes an issue, but he is going to benefit a lot more from Shadow Wave at this point.
Absolutely. Well, as Tubby continues to dominate his lane here. 15 last hits compared to the Spectre's 4, plus 2 assists on early kills. Spectre is taking another Poison Touch just to make sure that he's harassed down as much as possible. Zebra managing his mana pool extremely effectively. And 1DR and Lycus seem to be going about neck and neck down here. Lycus taking a bit of an advantage, but 1DR probably going to start taking a bit of an advantage over Lycus as he starts to level up.
We did just see a smoke picked up by the Dazzle, I believe it was, so it should be on its way out to him, and we'll see them rotate towards the mid, I would expect, as soon as that smoke arrives.
Yeah, that is a Dazzle. It is not out yet as the mid lane is holding the Courier ransom at the moment, but soon enough that smoke is going to come out. Presumably that's going to be a mid gank. They might actually search the jungle for the Chen. Chen's going to come around behind toward his opponent's Ancients. I'm not sure what he was doing.
He was looking for a pick-off on the Courier. And he got there literally about 4 seconds after it passed.
What a shame for Chen. Now he's wasting a bunch of experience in addition to the fact that he's been zoned out of his own
jungle. He'll be able to move on Lycus, so he'll get a...
Lycus is being attacked down by the Satyr. He does take one little bit, but he gets a bottle charge up, and he should be fine. AA tried to rotate down. Not really able to make anything happen there. Meanwhile, in the top lane, it looks like Hax is being attacked down. There's going to be Slithering Crush, a couple of auto attacks, and Disruptor, making sure that that kill goes their way. Once again, the supports are the killers taken, and making sure that that gold is going over the way of VA.
Yeah, very nice. Now, I believe what Chen did is he went scouting. He was trying to find a creep with a root, and there are none up that I could find right now. Closest thing was a Centaur War Stomp, but there is none in his pathing range on the way over to that courier pickoff that he was attempting.
Yeah, there's one Centaur up in that camp. There's a Centaur up in the equivalent camp for the Radiant side, but that's a long way to go for that Chen just to make sure that he has a stun. And Chen has had so much trouble so far this game, just making sure that he's able to be where he needs to be. He's starting to fall back in levels a little bit. He's level 3, and he's been doing a lot of rotating around. We do see Frost taking solo top lane. It looks like Spectre might be rotating out of the lane. And the smoke goes down toward the mid, but mid is so defensively positioned that it looks like VA just wants to move up and try to get another kill on the AA. AA now, not knowing where his opponents are, just going to hide himself in the bosoms of the woods and pray for sweet mercy that they don't dive him.
Worth noting, Ember Spirit and Tinker in this matchup down mid are going dead even. No big advantage going either way. Actually, I take that back. 1DR is actually going to have to run back to base to pick up some
AA
help.
is going to be caught out here as Tubby the Fat almost certainly going to grab the kill. He does miss Slithering Crush, but the Lightning is making sure that he gets nice and low. And Dazzle grabs the kill.
Dazzle the kill steal.
Yeah, Florida probably could have had that one with the sprint, but honestly, he's sitting on 4 assists, and he's top of last hits denies. He's close to, he just took top of net worth. So he doesn't really need to be getting these kills, and making sure that your supports that do have gold is an underrated ability for a team. So I honestly don't hate the fact that this Dazzle and the Disruptor have been grabbing those kills.
So Flying Zebra rotates down to the mid, it looks like, to support Lycus here. I didn't think Lycus was having that much trouble, but interesting rotation, and he pops a double damage rune. I don't know what for.
Yeah, Lycus, I think, just popped it to get his mana back up.
That makes sense.
He needed to use the bottle. He was not having too much trouble, but the lane has been going the way of Ember Spirit for a little while now. As he gets his levels up, Ember Spirit started to catch up. He's caught up, I think, about 10 last hits in maybe the last minute or minute and a half, and he's just about to surpass the Tinker. So he's starting to get into the stage where he's a stronger laner than the Tinker is, especially since the Tinker is going for the Bulba build with the Max March of the Machines and Laser. So the Chen, oh, poor Chen. Losing the stack in the jungle to the Tinker. He just cannot catch a break. This poor guy, as he rotated down bottom to try and make a kill happen. He even had the Wild Wing Ripper. Oh, my heart goes out to him. He had everything he needed to farm that up. That would have caught him up plus some, making sure that he got the gold. Instead, it goes entirely the way of the greedy Lycus, who eats his way. And he might actually find himself a Hax as well. Poor Spectre is now going to be lasered down. The healing wave goes out with that shadow wave. Hax is going to run into the woods, and a March of the Machines drop here will be enough to kill him. However, Tinker thinks that he's all the way around the other side. Flying Zebra is going to throw up the Grave as he is attacked down by Ping Ping Reborn and 1DR. 1DR chasing him through. The Grave is about to expire. He's going to go and try to juke to the west here, or excuse me, to the east. The Spectre now coming out, trying to make sure that he's available for this kill for the experience, which he desperately needs. The Dazzle does go down. I do believe the Spectre got the experience for that. He's sitting at level 4 at 8 minutes, which, considering his lane situation, not the worst in the world, but he certainly wants to be moving faster.
So they trade, but they trade the Dazzle essentially. What?
Slardar just got his Blink Dagger up already. 8 minutes.
Yep.
Blink Dagger,
Nice and fast, but they traded a Dazzle for a really nicely stacked creep camp and a tower. So actually not a bad trade for VA.
And Tubby the Fat, as soon as he got that Blink Dagger up, they also got the tower down up there. They're going to rotate down toward the mid lane where Flying Zebra and Lycus are being initiated on by the Ember Spirit and Frost. Frost coming in, but he is taking a little bit of damage from the Disruptor on the rear side, and Slaughter going to blink and get that huge Slithering Crush. He's now going after 1DR. 1DR trying to get away. He cannot get through the kinetic field, although he almost had Activate Remnant available. Could not quite get it. That's another 2 kills, and now Tubby the Fat finally getting his hands on a couple of the necks of his opponents as Clockwork gets a kill down here in the bottom on the Doombringer.
So they pick off the Doom on the bottom. They almost had the Tinker, but they lose 2 up in the mid lane. They're going to start to put some damage on this tower as well before the reactions get to come out. So a little bit of a Clockwork harass. Nothing major, though, because Ancient Apparition still hasn't hit that level 6 mark.
We're going to see that mid lane drop here pretty soon as Hax does try to catch up with the little solo safe lane farm. Very good opportunity for him to get a little bit ahead of the game and try to catch back up to where he really should be. The experience and the gold narrowly in favor of VA.
Tubby up on Frost. Tubby up on Frost.
And yep, Frost is going to go down, but Ping Ping Reborn is going to come in with the mini stuns, and he is actually going to go ahead and grab that Cogs, pulling out Tubby the Fat. Tubby the Fat has the grave up, though. He managed to land a Slithering Crust. Scars here. Ryan Noob is here. Now the Ping Ping Reborn on the chopping block. He is going to be glimpsed back into the silence. He's also taking the lightning, but he will be able to get away. Meanwhile, there is a reinitiation coming on down here. The Centaur is going to go down to Scar, it looks like. Scar coming in, and he is going to be able to attack that down. No, Scar is actually going to be stunned out. Very nice micro coming out for Dream. And Flying Zebra, Ryan Noob, and Scar just going to back up with the Slar being the only one to drop there. And the Travs come out of the Tinker. 10-minute Travs.
It was great play by Dazzle to keep Slarter up as long as he did. Slarter unfortunately juked left when he should have juked right and got caught out in the woods.
Yeah, that was kind of a frenzied engagement. Now,
who will kill it first?
And they both get it. All right. So no observers for anybody.
Thanks, Zebra.
Touche indeed. Tubby the Fat coming up here into the top lane. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to our net worth, where the top three are sitting for VA by a fair margin. Ember Spirit, the only one who's really starting to keep up with VA. And if they don't start to get themselves into a slightly better situation in terms of game momentum, CHUANZ is going to find themselves hitting a very, very fast rock bottom.
Well, if you look at that overall chart on the gold, it is almost to a 7,500 advantage for VA here at the 11-minute mark, and that is a pretty big advantage for 11 minutes into the game.
Yeah, especially considering the fact that CHUANZ is hoping to have the initiation advantage with that global strategy. Now, granted, they have the Ember Spirit, who doesn't get going super, super fast, and they have the Spectre, who definitely doesn't get going very fast, but they both go into late game pretty well here. Frost is actually going to stay way far forward and go down. I expect him to back out, but he just stood in the March of the Machines and got lasered down. We're going to see Ping Ping Reborn moving up here into a Slardar. He's trying to keep himself out of vision, but Slardar sees him. There's a very nice blink. He's going to get the Slithering Crush. There's Silence and Connected Field. Some auto attacks going out of Ping Ping Reborn, and the Dazzle might get this. The Tinker actually snagging the kill with a long-range rocket. Heat-seeking Missile doing its trick on the Mechanical Beast, the Goblin.
Absolutely, and this is rapidly getting better and better for VA and rapidly worse and worse for CHUANZ. They started out with some rough experience over on Chen, and honestly just have not been able to recover from that. The Chen spent so much time rotating, he just kind of fell behind everything.
Yeah, so the Chen pick was interesting in this particular case. I mean, the Doombringer came out to counter the Chen hard. Chen already having a little bit of trouble. Tubby the Fat actually goes behind the tower. He got boloed down, but he does throw out the Slithering Crush, getting a very nice amount of damage. There's Ping Ping Reborn coming in, trying to make sure that that kill goes out, but Dazzle getting the very clutch grave as Frost does manage to auto-attack the Dazzle down, punishing him for being so far forward. The Slar goes down, but he does manage to grab the Ember Spirit. Now the Tinker trying to put out a little bit of damage with the Heat-Seeking Missile and throwing down those March of the Machines here on the Tier 1 tower, but Chen is here with a couple of creeps to try and scare everybody away, and it does look like VA, for the first time, is going to be forced to back up. Blink Dagger now out on Doom as well.
So great stun combo. Slarter maybe getting a bit bold there on the behind the tower dive. Another perfectly timed shallow grave by the Dazzle, but it just wasn't. It's not lasting long enough at this point for him to do what he's trying to do.
Yeah, that was. I mean, it did help. They managed to grab a kill out of what would have been a trade off of the Slarter for nothing. So it did help tremendously, but it isn't quite as effective as they want. As Frost is going to be picked off, he's got absolutely no opportunity to get away. Just glimpsed into the big old fat crush, and then Jabba the Hutt just beat him to death with a trident. Did not work out well for him. Sitting at 12-5 in favor of VA as they do siege this Tier 1 mid. There doesn't appear to be any sort of reaction coming out of CHUANZ. They don't really have the opportunity. Spectre's still trying to catch back up. He's got phase boots up and 1,200 gold. Do you think that the Spectre is trying to save up for a fairly late Radiance at this point?
Maybe. I don't. He could be. I think that he needs to start picking up some offensive items so that he can be a little more aggressive in this global strat that they've got going on here. We haven't seen him really utilize it, not even once. But part of that is because VA has been sticking together like a street gang. They refuse to separate. They're staying strong. They know what the strat's built around and refuse to become isolated.
They are playing this basically exactly right. They did that aggressive trial and executed it perfectly. Lycus managed to take hold of his mid lane long enough for the rotation help to come in. They've got 3 sets of Blink Daggers. They're highly mobile. The Travs are up so that Lycus is going to be able to split push if he needs to. But more importantly, he's able to drop down a bunch of these marches and not run out of mana, but stay with his team. CHUANZ so far behind that they can't really factor into these long-range fights. Though there is going to be the Rocket followed by the Ice Blast. That's going to hit Scar and force him to back up a little bit. Ember Spirit's actually going to move in here. He throws down the Bolas. There's going to be the hookshot coming out of Ping Ping Reborn. They're actually going to grab that Doombringer. Very nice initiation. Now 1DR coming in with Hacks. Hacks throwing out the ultimate. There's going to be the Silence coming out of Ryan Noob. The Grave going out on him from the Dazzle. Ping Ping Reborn being auto-attacked down on, as well as taking a lot of damage from that ultimate. And he will go down as well. The Static Storm there really turned that around.
Yeah, you see, that's the strategy that CHUANZ wanted to execute from the beginning, and they finally got it off, and it looked beautiful. The problem is, it's just so late in coming. I mean, literally, they're at a 10,000 gold disadvantage already at this point in the match, that it's just not as effective as it would have been. And a lot of that is the fact that Chen hit 6 about 4 minutes ago.
That is really painful. He's been having such a rough game, but I mean, what do you expect out of a Chen in this situation? He tried to go get that courier snipe, which was probably the right move, although it was a little bit risky. He didn't end up getting it. He's been rotating around. He went into his opponent's jungle because he couldn't get any farm out in the top. There was the aggressive tri-lane that CHUANZ was basically completely unprepared for, and it has just gotten out of control for CHUANZ. VA starting to really get to the point that they're not even worried about the global initiation. Lyke is all off on his own, and there's nothing that's going to be done. 1DR is going to be stunned out as the hook shot goes out behind him. He's going to have the Clockwork soloing Ryan Noob along with Zebra. Zebra is going to take the A ult to the face, but he's going to throw up the Grave. He's got a couple of seconds of life before he goes down. Lyke is throwing down as many of the March Machines as he possibly can. There's going to be the 1DR pumping out as much damage as he can. AA throwing out one more auto attack as the stun comes out of Slar, saving Lycus. Lycus is going to bottle up, and he's going to blink away. Now Tubby the Fat trading off his life for the Tinker. Maybe not the best call in the world for a 0-for-3 gain.
Yeah.
In favor of CHUANZ. A little bit of a sign of life, unfortunately, evening out the gold loss at about 12,000.
Yeah, no kidding. It's the first sign of life. I don't know if it's going to be enough. It's good to see them executing the strategy the way that they want to finally. And I'm always tentative to write somebody off at this point, but they're at a point where it's going to be very hard for them to get back into this. And engaged on in the middle right now. 1DR going to pick him off of those bolas. He was creep trapped in there by all of the minions and couldn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, not only that, but the fiery bolus went out as well. What is that? Searing Chains? Yeah, it's called Searing Chains. I'm still trying to remember to make sure I know all of the names of his skills, because I've never actually played him. I don't do... Oh, Flying Zebra going to throw down the weave. He is going to be caught out by the hookshot. There's a very nice mana drain. There's going to be 1 Grave, 2 Grave. He's going to try to get away with the heal, and the A ult going to come in, hitting Tubby the Fat as he does grab a kill on Ember Spirit. There's the Shadow Wave. The Shadow Wave getting Tubby the Fat up just high enough that the A ult's not going to kill him, and Ping Ping Reborn in a bit of trouble now as the Disruptor comes in, throws up the Kinetic Field and Static Storm. One more attack is going to secure that as Scar comes in the rear, just to be sure. Slardar getting away by the skin of his chinny chin chin, and it looks like the bottom tower might be paying for CHUANZ's aggressive positioning.
So to just clear something up, you did say that the heal from Dazzle kept him up during the A ulti. The heal was ineffective, kind of just a natural.
You're very right.
It was a Flying Zebra, I gotta cast this because I'm a healer move.
I think it was actually for the damage, now that I think about it. The heal was ineffective, you're right. Because you can't heal through that A ulti.
Exactly, but fortunately, Scar had just enough health he was able to get out. But speaking of that, the next Apparition Disco Ball comes in, pops Ayanu right on the nose.
And they really don't seem to care. Tinker just popping out the rear entrance, March of the Machines, throwing all his minions through the back door, so that there is absolutely no opportunity for CHUANZ to make their way forward here. There's a fair amount of damage on that tier 2 tower, and they're all going to back up probably pretty smart as the Tinker's forced to go back to the fountain for some mana. Also, their mid lane taking a little bit of harass, and they don't want to give even an inch to CHUANZ.
Definitely not. And they know that CHUANZ does have the potential to pull themselves back into this. Interestingly enough, though, even though we've seen CHUANZ start to pull a little bit into the catch-up range as far as the kills are concerned, the gold graph has not changed its trajectory at all. It is still a slow, steady rise on its way to about 14K right now.
Yeah, though it does look like CHUANZ is managing. I mean, the experience graph is a better indicator of how the fights are going. You can see that CHUANZ has been holding their own more or less back and forth, and that's still below 4,000. The problem is VA is so much more effective at capitalizing on their victories against towers, because the Chen has never really had a significant creep army up. By the time CHUANZ takes any sort of fight victory, they're so weak they're not able to move on to tower. Meanwhile, the Tinker, during all these fights, has been initiated. Wow, Hack's getting very low. He's going to have the amp damage done, and Slardar going to auto-attack him down.
So big blink, good hunting out, and now they're going to fall back. Nice, important pick off on that Spectre. And let me pull up this.
Boy. The Frost is trying to rush out in a Ganem Scepter, which maybe when you're this far behind might not be the best call. That's an expensive item for a support to be grabbing in a game where you're so far behind. A game where you're 14,000 gold behind at 20 minutes.
Now, worth noting that right now, Spectre has the worst stat count on the field at 0-3 and 5 for his KDAs right now.
Yeah, he was picked off, what, twice in lane, something along those lines. He's been having so much trouble. And we are seeing a mid-siege here, very slow siege. So just waiting for another set of creeps to come up. The Tinker is going to teleport back in. Centaur coming in along with the Ursa. Tuppy the Fat doesn't really care. And now they're all just going to back out because they don't want to stand in the March of the Machines.
Which makes perfect sense.
Oh, there's going to be the initiation as Ping Ping is going to come in. He's going to go throw up the cogs. There's the Disco Ball of Doom and does manage to land. The Grave goes out. Ping Ping is going to go down here. He does end up going down to Scar. Scar now trying to back up Lycus. Does not have the Grave long enough. The AOL is going to kill him. AOL getting that kill. Frost is going to be doomed, and he's going to have to back out. The Weave goes out. Scar getting extremely low as the creeps are trying to auto-attack him down. Now Flying Zebra trying to get over to give him a heal, but the Centaur is going to go ahead and stomp him up in the top. It looks like 1DR is trying to chase down after Tuppy the Fat. Tuppy the Fat went in deep and managed to grab himself a Chen. And it looks like the Spectre probably went down to that Doom. The healing wave goes out with that Shadow Wave from the Dazzle. And that fight turning out a 2-for-1 and continuing VA's lead.
Yeah, it was actually a really good play for VA. And I was skeptical when I saw Slardar go that deep for the kill. But his team responded very well, provided him an exit avenue, and were ready and waiting as soon as he turned the corner to make sure that he got out alive. So good play by VA to support and then roll back around to the tower.
And now they are going to be sieging this tier 2 tower again. The AO already still back up, and Tuppy the Fat actually taking a little bit of damage here. The hookshot missed. 470 Ping Ping actually runs into his buddy's bum there and missed the perfect example of an opportunity to take down a Slardar there. That hookshot, if it landed with the AO there with the cogs, might have almost certainly would have been a kill on that Slar. Probably would have traded off the Clockwork's life, but it would have been a great initiation and a great opportunity for CHUANZ to get themselves back into this game. It really only going to take 2 or 3 nice initiations. Unfortunately, Tuppy the Fat going to initiate once again with a very solid blink. Connect field goes up, and the Ember Spirit is going to go down before he has that opportunity to react. BKB is up. Tuppy the Fat is going to go throw down another slam, and he manages to grab. No, the Tinker's going to take it with the laser. Coming in and grabbing. Tuppy the Fat has had the worst luck with grabbing kills so far this game. He's a Slardar with 13 assists. He's got more assists than anybody in the game. He's got more assists than Tinker, who has a March of the Machines.
Now, he is playing the hard initiation role, so he's going in and basically blowing everything he's got early on and knocking them all very low. And it was fun to watch the time. I don't know if you saw it. He was standing on the high ground, and his Blink Taker came off a cooldown, and you could actually, as his BKB ticked down to 0, you could see him start to inch forward just a little bit at a time. And the second it hit 0, Blink Smash.
Hax is literally creep farming in his opponent's jungle 1 camp at a time. That's all he can do. It's the only place that's safe for him, and he's not getting any significant farm up. He is sitting on drums, phase boots, and an orb of venom with a casual stout shield. He's got nothing, and he's so far behind, and he is the only hope for his team. Ember Spirit not anywhere near where he needs to be to hold this mid game, and even the Dazzle and the Disruptor are higher in terms of net worth than the Spectre. There's going to be an initiation coming out of 470 Ping Ping Reborn. The AOL is going to land on Scar. Scar, probably not long for this world. He is going to go down here, but the Grave comes out, saves him as he backs out. 4 Dream taking the Doom, and he'll go down. He tried to self-deny with the Ursa, but it's not enough.
Wow. And the Shallow Grave perfectly timed, literally fell off half a second after the Ancient Apparition ulti fell off. If it had been timed any differently, that would have been an exploding Scar.
This is a game of perfect timing. I don't know if it's luck or skill, probably a combination of the two. That Dazzle has been so on point. The Doombringer has really been making the Dooms count too. He's gotten a kill with the Doom with almost every single cast. Tinker has a sheep stick up before Spectre has a single major item up.
Yeah. And I would not be surprised, to be honest with you, in the next round if we don't see a Dazzle respect ban coming out of CHUANZ here.
Oh, yeah, and we saw in the chat, somebody was saying Flying Zebra's going to get the Dazzle. Flying Zebra, the Dazzle's his signature hero. He's so amazing. Wow!
Wow!
Pinging the blind hook! He's got it! There's going to be the cogs, and everybody's in there just beating him down! Wow, what a hook! But Slaughter is going to go in and get the stun. He's going to attack Hax down. Scar coming in with the Shiva's Guard, throwing out a slow. Hax is going to go down. The Weave is up. Ember Spear is going to try to get away with the Activate Remnant, potentially. No, he's just going to run away. He's going to be glimpsed back. Now there's the Activate Remnant. He's going to try to get away. There's no kinetic fields coming up. He should be able to get back as the Chen is trying to get any of his creeps out of there, but they're all going to be farmed out as well. Boy, this is going to be a tier 2 tower as well. Stubby the Fat retires back and just beats down on this tower.
If I was looking at this tower push and I didn't see the lineups, I think there was a Timber Saw in this match right now.
Yeah, look at these trees. It is deforestation. And there's the GG call.
There's the GG.
Yeah, you don't want to continue playing this if you're 2 Chons. It's just going to demoralize you for game number 2 because this is a best of 3 series here with the Play CEVO Season 4. What great play coming out of Vas'Avi, showing why they are quickly rising out of the middle of the pack towards the front runners here for our season. My name is Gorgon the Wonder Cow. If you like my casting, please do catch me over at Twitter at GotCowDota. Say hi to me. Go ahead and tweet to me about your favorite matches. And, of course, also join my co-caster, Toffees, on the Twitter.
You can follow me at Twitter at Toffees_Dota2 for all the important information that you need for your Dota day. So head over there, hit the follow button, and stick around because we got a great game for you. That said, if you haven't already followed Play CEVO-1, I don't know what you're waiting for because we've got some of the best semi-pro action available for you every Monday, Wednesday night, and really good amateur stuff on Wednesday as well as Tuesday as well as some relives. So hit that follow button and stick around for the next game.
All right, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be right back with game number 2 here at CEVO Season 4. Stick around.